Hello, good morning again. So this is Teacher JP for your physics class. Okay, so last time we did vector addition of vectors using the graphical method, right? So to have a refreshment, okay, or maybe a quick review for that one, let us first do a one activity for a graphical method. Okay, but first with that one, I will need to share my screen in order for us to read those. Okay, this one I will share. Okay, so vector addition. Okay, so we did last time the graphical method of adding vectors, right? So suppose a person covered two different displacements, A and B. Okay, so we have 30 meters, 25 degrees north of east, and the B is equal to 55 meters, 70 degrees south of east. So what is their total displacement? Okay, so what will be their resultant or R? Right, so we will do that one. So what are the rules in doing this one? First, you need to know when we say vectors, we have the tail and the tip. It looks like an arrow, okay? So we have the tail here, and the tip is where the arrow part, okay? Tip of the arrow. So that is the vector. Since we have two vectors here, so it will look like this, maybe, okay? So the first rule for that one is draw a vector A on a graphic or bond paper. Make sure that the magnitude is represented by a proper scale. That means you need to use a protractor, okay? Protractor and a ruler, okay? So that will be the first step. So this is now our A, 30 degrees, okay? Remember, just a reminder again, we will start our degree in the x-axis every time. Okay? We will not start here. Why? Kung saan mas malapit yung degree natin, okay, in terms of x, doon tayo titingin ng degree. Okay? For example, andito yan. Saan tayo titingin? Dito ba? Or dito? Siyempre mas malapit dito. So we will get the degree here inside. Okay? Hindi tayo makukuha sa y. Always x. Okay? Kahit iniwan ka na ng x mo. Joke lang. Okay? So that will be x. Second, okay? So we have the second step. Draw the vector B using the same scale that you used. Its tail should start from the tip of A. Okay? That's what I am talking about last time. If this is our first vector, tail tip, we will start on here. On this the tip of this vector. Okay? So basically, gagawa tayo ng another Cartesian plane. Okay? It's because we have a given degree. So we need to find that one. So for example, we have here, this is our tail, and this is the tip. So tip, doon magsisimula tayo ng B. Okay? So yung B natin is, nakalimutan ko yung kanya. 55 meters, okay? 70 degrees south of east. Remember that one? 55 meters, 70 degrees south of east. So this is our south, this is our east. Tama? This will be our east. So we have a 70 degrees. See, we started again here sa x. Yung degrees, x palagi, okay? X palagi. Hindi tayo pwedeng magkaroon ng degree sa y in terms of vector. Okay? Always x. Understood? Okay. Now, so for example, this is already 55 meters. Okay, up to here. So this will be the tip of this second vector. And then the last step that we will do is to draw an arrow connecting the tail, okay? The tail of this first arrow or vector and the tip of the second vector. Okay, so saan tayo magsisimula? It says here connecting the tail of A and the tip of B. So dito tayo magsisimula, ang arrow natin nandito. So we are arrow. So we have two arrows here from B and yung ating resultant. Now, the disadvantage of this graphical method is we will use ruler and protractor, right? Those are the disadvantages of this one. And we already know that if we are using such measuring tools, this is not that accurate, right? Hindi siya accurate. So that is the disadvantage, but still we can solve for this one. Okay? So for example, we are now measuring this one. So the measure will be 60 meters, okay? 39 degrees from the x, okay? From x again, from x. South of east. Since papunta siyang south, so south of east. Okay, so we just did a quick review about this one, and let us try to do this. Okay. A car initially traveled 35 kilometers due south and then traveled 65 kilometers to the west. What is the car's resultant displacement? Okay, so I will change my camera first. Stop sharing ko muna. Change my camera. I will go again there. Kasi hindi ko na-copy yung ating given. Okay, so we have here 35 kilometers south. Okay, and 65 kilometers west. Okay, now here, in our first example, okay, meron tayong degrees. But here we don't have any degree. That means we will just move the arrow straight. Hindi tayo magda-diagonal, hindi tayo mag-slant. Okay? So it looks like we have a 0 degree. Okay? Yun yung pinaka-meaning niya. So let's try to solve this one. And so we have 35 kilometers. Since kilometers is, tawag dito, masyadong mahaba, right? This one is kilometers. We can change this one as a ratio, correct? We can say that 1 centimeters is equivalent to 5 kilometers. Okay? So we will use a ratio. That means we can use this one as a representation of 5 kilometers para mas madali natin siyang madrawing. Okay? It's because our ruler is just limited for the centimeters. Correct? So magamit tayo ng centimeter para mas madali natin siyang madrawing ng maayos. Okay? So let us now draw a Cartesian plane. Ayan. So our first arrow or vector is 35 kilometers south. So this will be our north, east, west, south. Remember, 1 centimeter is equal to 5 kilometers. So if I will convert this one into this one, 35 kilometers will become 7 centimeters. Correct? So I will draw 7 lines sa south. It's because it's going to south. So we have 35. To use another color. Sana ka pwede siya. So from here, draw tayo ng arrow up to here. Okay? That will be our first vector. This one. Okay? First vector. And then, for 65 kilometers, we have here 65 kilometers. So we will just divide it by 5. This will be 13. Am I right? 13 times 5 is, yeah, 13. 13 centimeters. So this one is going to the west naman tayo. So we will start here. Correct? We will start here do sa ating tip ng ating first vector and we will move 15 to the west. 15 to the west. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 lang pala, hindi 15. Sorry. So this is our 13th line. So I will now draw this. Okay. Second vector, we have the A and the B. Now, we will draw a line, what we call the displacement. So from here, sa tip natin, we will draw an arrow up to there. Okay? So this will be our R, or resultant. Correct? Now, what will be the measure of this? So I don't have any ruler here. So maybe I will just assume any measurement, okay? So sabihin na natin yan is 15, for example. So our resultant is 15 centimeters, or if we will convert that one into kilometers, we will multiply by 5, correct? So 15 centimeters times 5, that will be 75 kilometers. Okay? So it will be R is 75. Hindi nakikita. Dito sa taas. Dito ha. So R equals 75 kilometers. Since this is now a diagonal or a slant line, we need to measure the degree. We will start at, hindi pwede sa Y, tama? So we will start here sa X. So mas malapit siya dito. So we need to find the degree for that one. Okay? And papunta siyang south. Papuntang south, so south of west ang kan natin. So for example, the degree here, I would just assume maybe 30 degrees. 30 degrees south of west. Okay, so the answer for this one is 75 kilometers, 30 degrees south of west. Okay, so that is how we can solve for the sum of a vector using a graphical method. And that's only a quick review for this one. So we will now move on to another topic. Ayan, okay, so I will share my screen again. I will share. Ayan, and we will now continue this. Ay, malapit. malapit sa sagot natin. Like, hey, so this one is only I assume, so I don't have any ruler and any protractor. So I suppose only this measurements. So solve lang tayo ng isa-isa. Okay. Ayan, so we can also use that property or rule if we have a multiple vectors. Okay, so if we have a vector A, vector B, C, D, E, we can also use the tail and tip or the graphical method. Okay, so we will move on to another one. So our second method will be this one, adding vectors mathematically. Okay, it sounds difficult, but we will do it easily. Okay. So, paano nga ba mag-add ng vectors mathematically? Of course, you can see here the Pythagorean theorem. Okay? When we say Pythagorean theorem, we must have a, what do you call that one? What do you call this? We must have a right triangle. Okay? So, at some point, just like this one, okay, this has a 90-degree angle, correct? We have here 90-degree angle on this part, correct? So we can solve this one using the Pythagorean theorem. Okay? So paano nga ba i-apply this one into the vector? Of course, we need to know first, or we need to recall, it's because you already did this one in your grade 9. We need to recall the formula for the Pythagorean theorem. We have a squared plus b squared equals c squared, where c is equal to the square root of a squared plus b squared. Okay? So, what will you call C here? Ano kasi tawag sa C dito? This is what we call the hypotenuse. Okay? Nakalimutan ko ata yung kanya. Basahin na, hypotenuse ito. Okay? Hypotenuse. And the other two sides, okay, we can switch their names, okay, based on the given angle. So we can say A as the adjacent and B as the opposite, or B will be the opposite, or A will be the adjacent, or A will be the opposite and B will be the adjacent. Okay? It's based on the angle inside. For example, the angle are here, or the angle is here. Okay, we will call the angle as theta. So this part is the opposite. Oh, okay. The line beside it is the adjacent. If we have the angle here, of course, it will be changed. It will change. The line opposite to this one is what we call the opposite side. And the line beside it is what we call the adjacent side. All right? So, it will be based on the angle given. Okay? Kung paano mo siya tatawagin opposite or adjacent. But C is always the hypotenuse. C is always the hypotenuse. Okay, let's start on how to do this. Okay? So if we will add perpendicular vectors, perpendicular means 90 degrees. We have two lines intersecting at exactly 90 degrees. That is what we call perpendicular. Okay? When adding vectors by drawing, you use a protractor, correct? And measure the angle of the resultant. When adding vectors mathematically, you use trigonometry. That's like what we have discussed earlier, which is the Pythagorean theorem. We say trigonometry Okay, we will use these three names. Okay, in trigonometry, it is very useful in finding the resultant. Those we have, of course, the sine, cosine, and the tangent. So we will do trigonometric functions again. Okay, so we will use sine, cosine, tangent. Each function uses two sides of a right triangle. The angle we are using is labeled with the Greek letter theta or the symbol theta. Okay? Nare-recall na ba yung inyong mga memories, trigonometry? So we will use it again now here in physics. Okay. We have the acronym SOHCAHTOA. Okay? SOHCAHTOA means sine equals opposite over hypotenuse. Sine equals opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine equals adjacent over hypotenuse. Tangent equals opposite over adjacent. Okay? So we will use those. You need to remember those again, okay? SOHCAHTOA. It's easy. SOHCAHTOA. S, O over H. C, A over H. T, O over A. Okay? Okay, so angles are measured from the x-axis. As I have said, we will start at the x-axis every time. Okay, x-axis. For example, this one. Let us try to solve. A hiker hikes 22 kilometers east, then 11 kilometers north. Okay, basically, if we are solving for vectors mathematically, okay, we don't have any degree that is given. Just like what we did here. We do not have any degree given. Correct? So we can use the Pythagorean theorem here or the trigonometry. Now, so we have 22 kilometers east, 11 kilometers north as the second vector. Determine the magnitude and direction of the hiker's displacement. Okay, or what we call the R or resultant. So we need to find the resultant using these two. So we will draw a Cartesian plane, of course. We will now draw the first. I will change first this one. Okay. The first, which is 22 kilometers east. So east natin. This is north, east, west, south. So we have here the east. It's natin. And 22 kilometers is very long, okay? So para malayo. So we can say that 1 centimeter is equivalent to, ano kayang maganda? Kasi 22 tsaka ko. Magkulang tayo ng 11 kilometers. Para mas madali, di ba? Okay? So 1 centimeter is equivalent to 11 kilometers. So I will use 2 centimeters for 22 kilometers. Okay. So we have here 1 and then 2. So I will now from here, I will now draw the vector. Okay. And then the another vector is 11 kilometers north. Saan yung north natin? Our north is this one. So, ibahin ko ulit yung color ng pen para mas makita natin yung difference. Ayan. So we will start here. 11 kilometers, that is 1 centimeter. So I will maybe here. Whoops, this one. So I will draw, okay. So this will be the other one. Okay, now we will now draw the displacement. Again, displacement is from here up to here. Okay, good. Ibahin ko yung kulay para mas maganda. Gawin ko siyang red. Yeah, so we need to solve for this one. So without using any ruler or a protractor, we can solve for this using the SOHCAHTOA, right? SOHCAHTOA. Parang son or son. SOHCAHTOA. Okay, so we have here, if we will find this one, it's because from x, right? This is from x. So if this is our given theta, this will be our opposite. This will be the adjacent. And this one will be our hypotenuse every time. So what will we use? If we have a given opposite and adjacent, can we use saw? No, it's because we don't have hypotenuse. We will not use also ka or cosine because we don't have a hypotenuse. So we will use TOA or tangent. Okay, so we have here tangent theta equals opposite over adjacent. Okay, the problem is we still don't have the theta or the angle. And we still don't have the h. So paano natin masasolve yan? We will first find the value of h using the Pythagorean theorem. Correct? So we have here c as the hypotenuse equals the square root of a squared plus b squared. Ayan. So what will be our a squared? It's either 11 or 22. It's okay. Kasi a plus naman yan. Okay? So we can interchange their given. So we have here 11 squared plus 22 squared. Okay. What is 11 squared? This is 121 plus 22 squared. This is 484. Okay? 484. Now, we need to add this two. 121 plus 484, that will be 5, 0, and then 6. Now, the only tool that we will use for this one is the calculator or the scientific calculator. Okay? So what will be the square root of 605? 605 is, of course, I will use my phone. Square root of 105. Teka lang ha. Oop. Kasi para lumabas yung mga ibang options. Yan. So, square, no. 605. 605 square root. So, we have here approximately 24.6. Okay, kasi innovation is 24.59674775. Marami. Okay, so I will just find the first digit or the first decimal point, which is 6. 24.6. Okay, so we have now the h, which is 24.6. Okay, now, we will now solve for tangent theta. Oh, pwede na pala siyang i-solve kasi hindi pala kailangan ng h. Nag-assume lang ako. Ayan. So, our opposite is, ano yung kulay green kanina? Yung mas maikli. So, we have the 11 kilometers. So, 11 over 12. Ay, 22, I should say. 11 over 22. Or 1/2. Tama? So, what is the tangent theta of 1/2? Okay, so this will become so magiging we will divide both sides by tangent. Tama? Para maiwan si theta. Correct? Did you remember this? So tangent will be canceled and theta is equivalent to the inverse of tangent. So I will put tangent -1, a symbol for the inverse, and then 1/2. Okay, let's solve. So tangent 1/2. 1 divided by 2 tangent. Tama ba yung calculator ko? Okay, so lumabas dito is 0. No, this one is wrong. I need a scientific calculator. I don't have any scientific calculator here. Okay, so using your calculator, ang lalabas sa sagot is this. Okay, screenshot this one first. Screenshot 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Ayun na pala siya. Ayun na. Okay, so we have the same. Ilasin ko muna itong mga to para makita niyo yung solution na nandyan. Okay, so we have the same answer na 24.6. Okay, in finding the value of the hypotenuse. And let's see for the theta or for the angle. Ayan, so pares lang sila. Okay, let's see for the angle. Tangent 0.5 or 1/2. Ayan, so tangent -1 or 1/2. Okay, so 26.57 degrees. So the value of the theta here is 26.57 degrees. That is how we can solve for a vector resultant or displacement using Pythagorean theorem and trigonometry. Okay? If we have two perpendicular vectors. Reminder, we cannot use addition of vector mathematically in if we have a multiple of vectors. Again, we cannot use this kind of method if we have two or more vectors. Okay? We can use graphical method or the drawing method in answering or finding the resultant or displacement of multiple vectors, but mathematical method is not appropriate for that one. Okay? Just a reminder. Baka sabihin ninyo, so ginamit ko yung mathematical method doon sa problem na binigay ninyo na meron tayong 4 vectors na given. Hindi pwede yun. Okay? We are just using this method if we have 2 perpendicular vectors. Okay? Okay. Now, I will end now this meeting and I will send your activity in the QSA. Okay? I will send the activity in the QSA. Okay, see you again next time. Bye.